G'day, citizens. I'm Execute, and welcome to the Inforunners. Joined today by my pal Algared. How you doing, mate?
Fairly well, fairly well. Today we're going to be rambling a little as we talk Cutter.
Very much so.
And
Yeah.
I know you were saying it almost feels like it's a rant.
Yes.
Because
not a.
we spent probably 30, 40 minutes.
The Drake Cutter rant would have been a way better name. But yeah.
Yeah, it feels like we were going on a bit of a rant ourselves, looking at the things we liked and disliked, and there's things in it that just don't add up.
Yeah, literally. All right, let's cut it over and start looking at it. We'll have a look at a bit in game, and we'll go through everything.
Yeah.
So I put what I believe to be the most awful Winnebago skin on this thing. You think it's okay, Agrid?
Yeah, I don't mind the desert color skin. To me, it reminds me, it's kind of Africa core yellow, and so I don't mind that. It's but I can see why you wouldn't like it. But yeah.
All right, well, let's have a look at some outside differences compared to the other cutters. We've obviously got some lights. That's probably the biggest telltale sign. There is a few extra pins and things like that, but nothing too landmarky. We do have the additional thrusters. So it's got
on there.
Two medium ones like the Scouts, and then two more additional. Now, I will say visually it looks kind of really cool when you're flying. But yeah. And that's about where the good shit ends, because after that, it all starts to go negative in my book. So, you can't put a mule in here.
No.
It doesn't have bigger components like the Scout.
Yep.
And what do you get in return? So you get before I go inside, I guess we get this roof rack fuel canister. Now, you were telling me beforehand, what does that equate to?
That equates to a extra quantum fuel tank and an extra hydrogen fuel tank, and that's it.
Yeah. So what does the default cutter have? They have like 2 small tanks, and this has 3.
So they've got the defaults. The Cutter and the Scout have 2 small hydrogen fuel tanks and 2 quantum fuel tanks. 2 small quantum fuel tanks. This has 3 small quantum fuel tanks and 3 small quantum fuel tanks. And my question is, why do I need a 3rd hydrogen fuel tank when it's always the quantum fuel that we're always running out of? So to me, it's a bit weird. So that's probably the biggest thing there.
I want to show you something else that's weird. You know, the weapon rack.
Yeah.
But like all the cutters, they already have a weapon rack.
Yeah.
So you get more weapons. Wow. Don't amaze me too much.
So you can get more weapons in when you do your bunker run. Yeah.
And then the suit locker, but we kind of don't know the benefits or drawbacks to a suit locker. Like the only obvious one at the moment is that you can take a heavy suit of armor, so you can have that. So does that mean this ship leads more towards bounty hunting or something, or bunkers, or and why am I giving up half my cargo to get a suit locker, extra weapons that I don't think you really need when there's just one of you? Why are you going to need like 2 big guns and 3 medium guns and what's that, 6 pistol size things? Like, why do I need? It's way too much, you know.
Yeah. I could see it as type of your loot from a bunker. You're putting those in there, but
and I'm getting 2 seats when all I really need is 1. And what is the benefit of this table? Can't I just sit down here on the bed and eat my food? Like, I don't. These are superfluously crap. They just take up space. When, I said to Algared, I said, how much better would have this been if they had extended life support and had 2 beds? Make it a 2-player variant, like then the fuel makes sense. That you're giving up cargo, blah blah blah, and I just don't get it. And the Scout, Algared, you were saying, like, just give some of the stats you were giving to me before about the Scout.
The Scout has both a medium computer and a medium cooler, which makes it much better for its idea of recording the data that it's collecting. If this is an Explorer, I would have expected this to have greater computer storage. If this is a Explorer for doing jump points, I've expected it to have jump point mapping sensors similar to the Carrack and the Aquila, but it doesn't. the Scout actually appears to have the better components to do that job.
Yeah.
When I look at the hard points, all three of them, the Cutter, the Scout, and the Rambler, all have size 2 hard points for the guns and size 2 missile racks. And there's a slight difference in the loadout of the missile racks, but you can just change those. They're exactly the same in terms of, in terms of components. This has exactly the same components as the base Cutter, but has less cargo and I think less functionality. To me, it's a downgrade.
Yeah. And it's really ironic that John Crew kind of said it's the premium one, but it doesn't feel premium. And they didn't sell this properly. They've just gone, it's an Explorer, and expect us to buy it because Exploration is popular. But like when I look at any of the perks and like the only really obvious one, right? Because we don't really know other than the heavy armor thing with the suit lock, right? So you got to look at the fuel algorithm. I looked at this one and go, as soon as you put extra fuel in it, cool, it can go further, right? Right now it goes further. So does that now mean it goes further than any starters, right? Because that's an advantage. But does that that instantly means now it's competing with medium ships because it's going into the territory that they go into when they quantum warp further and jump further. So that actually puts it's outgunned, it's outclassed when it goes out there. Like it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Why would you want those benefits when you don't have the guns to go toe to toe? So yeah,
I could see possibly it being, you go to that location and then you just live around that location and do the local runs. But as you said, once you go to that location, the main ships you're going to be coming across are the medium ships rather than the small starter ships. So it does seem like it's going out of its league. I'm perplexed by it.
Yeah.
I like the look. I've got to say, I like the look of it. I like the fact that the fins kind of give the idea that it's got greater maneuverability and agility, and yet I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, like its look doesn't translate to its function. And I, like, knowing the images that came out from this thing and what I thought it was potentially going to be, the drastic change from whatever the thing was on top. So I'm talking about the thing above the cab. It looks,
storage.
No, not the fuel
tank. Yep.
No, not the fuel tank storage. I'm talking about.
So
this is now a fuel scoop behind the lights, right? I'll zoom in on it. Right, it's some form of fuel scoop. Now before it looked like it had arms on it and a whole bunch of stuff, and now it's just something else. And it doesn't. I don't even think it has fuel scooping. Algared, there's nothing about fuel scooping in that I saw. Did you see anything of that nature?
I haven't seen anything on fuel scooping, but if it is a fuel scoop, it will be a hydrogen fuel scoop.
Yeah.
And in which case, I'm asking, why do I need a third hydrogen tank if I've got a fuel scoop to pick up hydrogen?
Yeah.
I'd be better off with a fourth quantum fuel tank. So does that mean they're going to give us that option to change the fuel that's in our fuel tanks down the line? You said it earlier, and I think it's true. They've said this is an Explorer. They've said that this is premium. But you haven't shown me how it is.
Yeah. As I said to you then, I basically said you said it's got X, but you haven't told me what X is. So therefore, I can't work out the algebraic equation essentially. Like we can't work out what it is. And I try to put my hat on as a new player because this is a starter, right? If I come into the ship and I don't understand what this is, I don't buy this, And to me, it's a downgrade. Like that, you are losing way more than you gain. And again, most premium starters, so to speak, or advanced starters, they're an upgrade. This is not an upgrade. It's a side graded absolute best, and they're both in my point. In my book, you are giving up more. Like what you're giving up, you're not getting back in return.
I'll be honest. I actually think the Scout is the premium one because it's got the bigger components.
Yeah.
It's got because everything else is the same on them.
I'd go the other way, Algared, and say I think it is a side grade too, but you're getting benefits, or you're getting equal what you're giving up, you're getting in return. This, what you'll get, you haven't sold me on why the suit locker and the extra fuel is worth it, and I can't see it, right? And again, that's either my blindness of not being able to see it, and you guys can let us in the comments below what you think. But to me, what you're giving up, you haven't shown us in return the gameplay you gain. And to be honest, like if this is an Explorer and the Scout's an Explorer, the Scout makes sense, but this doesn't. And so it's the emphasis is on you as the marketing team, and CIG is to sell us on what this is. And I just,
as an Explorer, it doesn't match. It doesn't seem to fit the role you're saying it does, and that for me is a problem. You look at the weapons; they say that it's got size 2 hardpoints, but every one of the cutters have size 1 guns attached. They say it's got size 2 hardpoints for the missile racks, and it does. But they're the cutter and the Rambler are equipped with 4 size 1 missiles, so they've got a different rack than the Scout. You can change the rack, so you can change the 221 to a one that has 2 size 1 missiles or 1 size 2 missile, but that's it. There's no real difference in the hardpoints on those 3 variants, so there's nothing there. They're not they're not bespoke racks, they're not bespoke weapons. At the moment, we've still got them with the gimbals, so we've got seems like we've got the minus gimbal. I haven't tried changing the weapon and putting a size 2 on there yet. I know you haven't. That would be something that might change the thing, but
it's a struggle, and it's a frustration. And if we as veteran backers cannot figure it out, how's a new person going to do that, right? You can go look on the website. We were looking at the website before. There's just nothing on there. Like hang on, I'll flick it over. There's just nothing here. Like it just says roam the universe, and then it talks about it's got a really cool cockpit, and who cares? The other 2 variants have got cool cockpits. The cockpit hasn't changed at all.
I don't think the cockpit's changed. The only big difference I can see is the 2 headlights above the cockpit. So maybe you can see better when you're on the land. But that's
why is better lights better for this? What is its role? What is this actually doing? And it's like Algared said, why do I need so much more extra hydrogen fuel? What is it meant to be doing? Like is it just meant to be like? This, as I said, Algared, this came off as a touring vessel to me, right? And if it's a touring vessel, I would get an Origin. So we went and looked at the 100i, right? And the 100i is in the same price range as this. It's got 2 SCU, and I can spawn from smaller pads.
And if I go the 135C, I've got 6 SCU of cargo.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't seem to add up.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, it feels like they pivoted, and the reason it feels like they pivoted is because the other images show different stuff on top of this, right?
Yeah,
it looked like it had this really cool, unique role. Like that's why I had all that speculation, right? And I know I sound like I'm complaining because I didn't get what I want, right? But I'm just using that as an example where I can objectively look at this ship, and I think if you all look at it objectively, it's not the same as the Scout, right? So the Scout's just a good upgrade. The Cutter itself, I'd still say the normal Cutter's the best variant, the safest variant to take, right? And again, the other example I gave to you before the show is look at what they did with the Zeus recently, Algared. You were saying saying yourself, all 3 variants were so distinct and different, and they made sense.
Yeah, whereas these, I can see the Scout. I can see a purpose for the Scout, a role for the Scout. But the Rambler, like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's a beautiful looking ship, and the other thing, like, if it was something for checking out salvage or checking out a mining site or checking out somewhere in the dark, I understand the lights. I can understand the maneuver, the things that seem to give it greater agility or give the impression of greater agility. But I go to the matrix of lies to try and see if there any difference on how they're flying.
Yeah,
they're all blank.
So
you could start having a look at Urkel and other areas, but those differences should be listed.
And from a sales perspective, you think they would have brought this out before the Scout, because it just doesn't sit in this right spot. And it makes me think that they pivoted, and the reason they brought this out after was because they had to change things. And again, that thing on top, if you go look at images, I don't I'll probably give me a second, I'll probably bring one up, but they changed it drastically. So yeah. But Algared, what would you like to hear from people in the comments below while I'm trying to bring out this image?
Are we just on a rant? Are we just ranting? Are we not seeing what's there? And if there is a significant difference that makes this valuable and useful as an explorer, let us know. Because I don't see it.
Yeah.
That's my beef. I just don't see it. I think the Scout's a better explorer than this.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, you can see the thing here above the cab. There was something there. It almost looks like it's got tractor beams or some kind of something different about it. There's something that it does. I don't know. You know, we'll never find out. And now you get in the game and it's just a fuel scoop.
Yeah.
You know. Oh wait, rolled the wrong way. But yeah, look, it's just a fuel scoop
with 2 headlights now, and it did look like it was on rails and would move and shift, and now it doesn't, and you got the headlights there. So
yeah, and there was no headlights before, so that again leads to what I'm saying. It's a shift. Oh, hang on, I just realized I might not be in. No, I'm not in game, so I need to flip the web so they can see what I'm talking about.
And the like those rails actually to me look like they would be more likely to inhibit the view slightly because there's extra struts that are there. Now, I know they line up with the sides, but at different angles, you'll get them.
Yeah. So yeah,
you know, so,
I don't know. I'd like to know people's thoughts below. Like, why do they reckon it you know, stayed the same for you know, like this thing's been leaked for over 18 months at this point, and now it's, you know, like it's just back to this. So yeah.
Well, I'd like to know what other people think of this. Are we just off our rockers? Are we just being snowflakes and spoiled?
Yeah.
Are we acting? You know, are we acting up? Are we being spoiled children?
Yeah.
Do the thins on this make you feel it should be more maneuverable? But I can't tell.
Yeah. So sorry if this did come off a bit ranty, but it just doesn't add up. And yeah, I kind of almost want to
came off the ramble.
Yeah.
The ramble.
But well, you know, let us know your thoughts. Like, can maybe we're just completely off the mark here? I don't know. But yeah, let us know in the comments below. But me and Algared thought the same. I watched a few other content creators' videos. They have similar takes as us as well. You know, they don't even mention losing the ability to put the mule in the back, and that's a big thing. That was a big thing for the Cutter itself, and that's gone. You can't do that now. Yep. You can, in fact, you've got more room in the Scout to put a vehicle in. This has less. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Algared, you've shared what you want to share.
So my takeaway: the value of this ship is it's an LTI token. That's it.
Right, and there are, you know, obviously you've got the other ships there, like the Santoki-I and the X1 there at the moment, and I think they've got a few things like the Reclaimer and the 400i. That's what you buy it for. As Algared said, you just use the LTI token at the moment, and that's it, sadly. All right, with that then, he's been Algared.
He's been Execute, and we're out of here. Take care.
See you, citizens.